Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thanks for staying with us on Cool Digest this Tuesday. Now, on the other half of the show, we're discussing casual workers in Nigeria, the untold stories. Last week, Wednesday, you heard about the unfortunate death of a worker at the Linda Manufacturing Company. And since then, there's been a lot of outcry and protest here and there, especially from workers in that particular company who have been complaining of ill treatment from owners of that company. We're joined now this morning by Abdul Karim Motajo, is a chairman, organized private sector union, as well as general secretary, Air Transport Union. Good morning, and thank you for finding time to join us.
Good morning.
Also, we also have a legal practitioner here with us, Barrister Shidi Akisoino. Good morning, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, before I speak to my panel, we have someone here who is a staff member of the Linda Manufacturing Company, the very company who happens to be in the eye of the storm. We won't be showing you his face, we won't be telling you his name just to protect his identity, but we want to hear from him what exactly the situation is in that place. Good morning, my brother. How are you today?
Fine.
Okay, how long have you been working with Linda Manufacturing Company?
For the past 2 years.
I want us to speak louder.
2 years.
For the past 2 years,
Yeah.
what exactly do you do there?
Well, we used to give workers things they used to work.
Okay.
As in, we try work inside the oven. Our work is just inside the oven.
Okay.
And bring material for workers to work. That's all.
To work.
Yeah.
How long do you work there per day?
8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah.
We heard about a particular arrangement whereby they give you a target. Can you shed more light on that?
Yeah, if they give you a target and you don't finish it, they will ask you to finish it. Then we do close 4:30. Then if you don't finish before that 4:30, they will say you should stay, and it might take you up to 5 o'clock or 5:30 to finish work. So that is the problem we are having there, over target.
Okay. What's the target like? What are you required to do per day?
Okay. Normally we are supposed to do like just say 200, but now they are giving workers 4:30 work. They will give you 280, sometimes 300, and they don't used to finish it on time.
Okay.
You see, and most of the times, if you are sick and you come take permission, they will say you should manage your body like that. Likewise, me, by this time last year, I was ill, so when I came to permission, they said I should manage and work, and they don't used to give permission on Friday. I said that.
The management there says there is an health facility in that company, and they even showed us some nurses, on that place. But how true is that?
Well, in the health facility we have is too slow, and if you go there, they are telling you that you have headache, they will give you medicine. Then if you go and tell that you're having some kind of medicine, you see you give same medicine at same time.
Okay.
You see, you don't have any medicine. They will say this one is for this one, this one is for this one. They will give you same medicine for headache and some medicine for.
So you are saying you don't trust the competence of the health workers.
But
there.
every month our money used to go out from the company.
I didn't get that.
But they used to collect money.
Okay.
But they don't need to tell us so. But we know that every month.
Okay. They charge you for the health services.
Yes.
This target you made mention earlier, the target of producing a particular number of what do you do there? Hair attachments?
Yeah. Attachment and weave on.
Okay. Is it possible that an average staff meets up that target within a day?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, so why do you need extra hour to make it happen?
Well, the people that are controlling us before, if you are doing your work and you not be able to finish the work, well, you can go to your house. But the people in charge now, Yeah, some kind of troublesome people.
What about the pay? How much do they pay you there?
Well, back then they used to pay us very well. If you do 6 o'clock work, we are expecting 36. But now,
36,000
yeah,
naira per
as
month.
a casual, yeah,
Okay.
okay. But now we are doing 8 hours. Sometimes they pay us 32, sometimes they pay us 31. Then the staff have been paid 38, 39. So they don't have any specific
It's all right.
reason.
I'll get back to you. Let me quickly join Abdul Karim Motajo. You're the chairman of Organized Private Sector Union in Nigeria. What exactly would you say are the challenges being faced? Because we see many people come up about this casual worker thing, and then they would talk about their welfare, their condition of service. What role does your organization play to ensure a balancing of all of this?
Well, I think it's, let me say, it's very interesting having this program today. This particular company you're talking about, I think runs along Iju Road.
Yeah, in Jurod.
Exactly. I pass it there every day. And whenever you're passing there, you see workers hanging out for hours. And that is why I discovered that this must also be one of these casual workers. That is, if you're allowed to come in a day, that's when you work. If you are not allowed to come, you are not working for the day. Okay. Now, let me start by saying that there is a law against casual workers in Nigeria. The law says you can only take a casual worker if you know you needed his job for not more than 3 months, period. Not more than 3 months. If he's going to get over 3 months, it's either you lay him off now, call him back again, when you still need the service, or you give him a permanent service. I remember, was it around 1990, thereabout, when even federal government, earlier than 1990, when federal government itself cancelled the issue of daily paid worker. We don't have a daily paid worker system in Nigeria, in the Nigerian working environment. And that is why the industrial unions directly involved, when I say industrial union, like for instance, our union, the textile union, so many of the private sector union have been in the struggle against this casual. But the unfortunate thing is that we are not being heard by the state, by the system. Whether I say the state or the system. For instance, we have Ministry of Labor, who is supposed to go to every factory on an inspection and know the conditions of work of those workers. I don't believe they do it at all, but even if they do, they don't do the right thing in those places.
It's all right. I'll get back to you, but Barrister, he made mention of the provision of the law that allows for just 3 months. How do you interpret that?
Well, let me start from the onset to say that the unemployment situation or the employment situation in Nigeria is very, very grim. So, as we have it now, if you look at the Nigerian sector as it is now, we have more casual workers in the Nigerian system. Let's say 60 to 40% of this in Nigerian system, unlike before. Now, there are so many graduates or undergraduates who are seeking jobs. They will fall into this helpless situation. So, employers of labor, especially all these construction companies, airports, all these telecommunication companies, and the industry you just mentioned now, will take advantage of these unemployed graduates or undergraduates to use them. And casual workers or contract staffs, as they were, are not being paid the same way as permanent staffs are being paid. Okay. And they work more than permanent staff because they have to meet a target. So saying, the Labour Act does not define who a casual worker is or a contract staff is. But we've been having cases where the Nigerian Labour Congress have had situations where complaints have been reaching them about casual workers and the casualization of workers in Nigeria. Being that as it may, the ILO, the International Labour Organization, defined casual workers as those who work under explicit or inexplicit conditions. Now, we have situations where Nigerians as a whole, where you have casual workers, the employers of labor use them more. They don't pay them regularly. They work several hours, and some even die in the course of working. They don't have any contract of employment. No contract of employment. So it's on a hire and fire basis. They can hire and fire them with or without notice.
Are these people helpless in a country that has a standard law, just like you made mention? What can they do in this
The
situation?
only thing they can do is get a lawyer, get a union, get that company you're working for to sign a contract with you, a part-time contract. There must be something binding you to that company. If this happens, this must be done. It must be in a written form. Because there is no written contracts, there is no written terms of employment. They can be hired and fired at any given time. They say, which you are fired. Simple.
Abdulkari, what is this thing about private owners not wanting their members of staff to have organized unions, especially in this part of the
You
world?
see, just like my friend here just mentioned, the unemployed situation is the core of all, is the main brain of all these things happening. People want a job. Now, for instance, majority of unions in the private sector, organized private sector group, had made several attempts. But what do you find? Somebody who has just got somewhere to work and take some money home, if you call him to organize him into union, he ran away because he going to get fired by the company. So sometimes what we do is that behind them we go fighting for them to get them, like what the lawyer just said, get them have a contract of employment. But I can tell you the easiest way to cancel what we call casual staff entirely in our system is for the Ministry of Labor to do their job. The law said that what they are there for, they do what they call factory inspection. When they do factory inspection, the first thing they ask for, where's your conditions of service? These people will never have a condition of service. I mean, what will be the condition of service when their job is not even permanent? So talking about whether they have medical, but maybe because they know that they are gathering a lot of people together, so they have, but they do. It's not based by law.
It's all right. Let me hold you
There's
there
law
for a
by
while.
on medical attention.
It's all right.
They are not doing anything about it.
Let me get to my brother in the studio, who happens to be a casual worker with the Lindbergh Manufacturing Company. You said you've been there for 2 years.
Yeah.
What letter, what agreement do you have with that company?
Well, we didn't have any agreement.
Can you speak louder than
They
that?
just employed us. They just say, I was employed 2012 February. Then when I traveled to my village, 2012 December, then when I came back, they sacked me, say that I traveled, that letting them know, of which I've gone there to take permission.
They gave you an employment without any formal write-up, no letter of appointment, no letter of agreement.
They gave me the form, I filled it, then no letter of agreement, just fill the form, just like that.
Okay, you just filled the form.
Yeah.
It's all right. Barrister, what exactly is the legal process for this hire and fire dimension between employers and employees?
Well, let me start here. What's the cause? You have to go to the root cause of having casualty of workers or casual workers or contract staff. Find the debt of unemployment. That's unemployment is on the rise. So employers of labor will take advantage of this to employ these casual workers because it's cheap. The cost is less for them. Unlike when you are employing a permanent staff. Even some of the casual workers may have better qualifications than some of the temporary staff or casual workers may have a better qualifications than the permanent staff. Now, the legal framework, since the Labor Act states quite clearly, I think Section 15 or thereabout, of Labor Act states quite clearly that there is no definite line where there is no contract of employment, where there is no laid down rules for such a staff. The Labor Act kicks against having casualty of workers. Now, if you look at it this way, unless, I'll state it for anybody who cares to listen to me, and for those watching me, you must have some kind of force your employers to have a bond. If you don't have a bond or an agreement, forget contract of employment. Because government is meant for.
But in most cases, Barrister, you agree with me that members of staff can make this happen of their own power or might for the fear of being sacked. What's the role of the government or labor unions or whatever organized?
It's for the lawmakers or the National House of Assembly to pass a law There are laws regarding this is the Trade Dispute Act, the Labor Act, Workmen Compensation Act. There are so many laws regarding this kind of situation. But the question is that on the issue of casual workers, the law is a bit silent.
It's all right.
On that. It's only meant for this thing. And you see in some contract of employment, I'm employed under a company. I have a contract of employment. I have a letter of employment. And in that letter of employment, it is a silent letter of employment that says there are kicks against having unions.
What are the legal process?
Fine, we have the general body called the Nigerian Bar Association, that's the NBA. But it's not a union, it's an association.
What are the legal processes of terminating an employee's appointment under law?
Under law, if you're going to terminate it, you must follow some certain guidelines and stipulations. There are different types. There's one which they call the master-servant employment or relationship, which in some cases, some under the private sector fall under the sector. And there are some under the public sector we have what they call employment with statutory flavor. Those that have laws and rules guarding whether you want to terminate their employment, you have to follow some certain stipulations. You have to maybe call them if they must have defaulted in any way. You set up a tribunal before you just sack. But if it's a master-servant relationship, all they just have to do is...
How do you define master-servant relationship?
Master-servant relationship of definitely if it's a permanent staff.
Okay.
There is a contract of employment. There are laid down rules. There are terms of employment, like he has said here. Okay. And also there is what they call work definition, what you are supposed to do.
It's all right. Let me quickly come to you, Abdul Karim. Unfortunately, most of those firms on that question are owned by foreigners. You notice that there are white men who are not even nationals of this country. How did it get that bad?
The point is that, like I said, it's a systemic problem in Nigeria. I just came back from a conference in Portugal where this issue was being discussed. And somebody came out and said, Zambia today, a law has been passed that whoever employed anybody as a casual will be jailed, will be put to jail for employing anybody as a casual. Yes, I said the law is also here in Nigeria. They can perfect it by putting strict, punishment for whoever is doing this. But what about implementation? These are some of the problems. Now, the worst thing is that majority of these people are foreigners. Talk the Chinese, the Indians, the Lebanese and all that. And they were doing it because our system is bad. They get people to bribe them and make them look aside doing whatever they like.
Are you indicting the government?
I mean, of course. I tell you that I pass it through this place every day and I see this worker hanging out. Even when it's raining, they have to hang out there for I don't know how many hours. If I pass there around 7 o'clock, I see them. If I come out late, 9 o'clock, I see them, which means they might have been there from 6 o'clock. You understand? And everybody is seeing them there. Now, laws have been made. What is the government doing? What the Ministry of Labour doing? These factories are there. The laws, there are particular officers of the Ministry of Labour assigned to specific area who goes about, a factory is here. He goes in there, he has some document. They don't ask. If they ask, these people will not remain casual. For 2 years, we have people, places where people are serving as casual for over 10, 13 years.
It's all right.
And the law is there, as you said, unless when you go to court, how do you carry a non-unionized officer to court? Then you make him lose the job. Because the moment you go to court and the company gets to know that it is for this and this and this and this, they are casual. No law is governing them for that moment. They could be sacked and that's the end of it.
Let's quickly take this call from Ekiti. Wale Iyanewura. Good morning, Wale. How are you today?
Hello.
Good morning. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Fine. I'm okay. Yes, this is contract of employment. That is this contractual people being given temporary appointment in the labor workforce of Nigeria. You see, the issue is that most of the time there are some agencies that go about employing people and then taking them to those people on contract and the hand commissions. It's very common in the banking industry, the banking sector, which is very bad. It doesn't exist in other places. It is because the labor laws in Nigeria, they are not adequate to take care of something. It's more or less slavery on the part of those people, because you see people collecting money, commission on what they have not, they have no single contribution at all. And it's very common in the banking sector. Not only in the banking sector, in some other areas where you have a lot of fluid people. And as the speaker in yellow said, it is time Nigeria have a law that makes sure that people are not giving that type of contract employment, because they don't have anything. They have no rights. They can be hired and fired as will by those people that have employed them.
I believe you made your point there. Thank you for your contribution. I'm afraid it's going to be the only caller on the show. We have to round up now. Possibly we'll find some other time to discuss this at length. But the victim, who happens to be a part of our panelists today, what is the situation like now at the Linda Manufacturing Company? I understand that it was locked down. Is it still locked?
Yeah, it was still locked, but some people were working there on Friday.
Okay.
So when I came in between 2 to 10 on Friday, and some people asked me if I'm going to work. I tell them no, that I want to go and see the people in charge of the case.
Okay.
They said I will not go in, so that I will not go there and cause problem. And now step aside.
It's under lock, but work is still going.
Yeah, they are still working inside.
Okay, are you saying that your colleagues who were protesting before have started working there?
Some of them were just came outside and asked us if you know that you want to work, you can come in. And some of them went inside, but for me, the guy that died is my friend. We are working same place, so I said no, I will not.
What exactly were the situations that surrounded the death of that your colleague?
Well, he came to work on Wednesday, and he was not feeling fine. And he went and meet his Oga. Please, though, I need permission. They just say close me for half day so that I'll go and take care of myself. The man was like, get out of my sight. You see. So after it was between after 12, they used to go to work on 12 o'clock. Then we used to go on 1 o'clock. So between 2 and 1, he came to me. I asked him how far, and he said fine. I was just like, what's happening? Because I know that something was to happen. So how far? And I said fine. How it goes? I said fine. Then he went to his own section. Between 15 minutes past 1, they started looking for him. You see, and they didn't see him. Of which he ran to the backyard of the company. He was sitting down there for, they say, about 20 minutes or 10 minutes. No one, anybody, camera around the company saw him when he ran into that place.
And that was by that.
Yeah. So
I get you. I'll just give you 1 minute each to give your final comments of this discussion, especially finding out the way forward, because that is just one case out of many others that are going unnoticed. Let me
seize this opportunity to inform you that tomorrow in Abuja, we're going to have a press conference at the level of the Nigerian Labour Congress, of course, being organized by the organized private sector unions. And, of course, my brother here mentioned it, the ILO has set up 7th of October as anti-casualization day. So on the 9th, because of the holiday, we couldn't do it on the 7th. So on the 9th, we're going to go around. We're going to go around the state.
Barrister, you have 30 seconds. So what's the way out now?
I see casual workers and contract staff as what we call modern day slavery or second-class citizens in the modern capitalist economy of this world we're in now. So should we allow it to continue? That's the big question now. Because I see this as slavery. You are being forced to work under harsh conditions, no pay, and this thing. So, yeah, more or less still like a slave in your own country, in your own backyard.
And by foreign
yeah, exactly. And so what I think we should do is that the National Assembly and even the NLC should wake up.
It's all right.
they should wake up. Okay, we can be talking about ASU, ASUP, and other workers in other establishments, other parastatals.
The National Assembly should wake up to their
They
responsibility.
should wake up to the responsibility,
Thank you very
especially
much.
the responsibility actually falls squarely on the shoulders of the NLC.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Thank you very much. Our brother from the leader manufacturing company, Abdulkarim Motajo, is a chairman, organized private sector union, as well as general secretary, Air Transport Union. Barrister Shidi Akinsoidu, thank you very much for coming today. Well, that wraps it on Cool Digest. We'll continue, no doubt, tomorrow at 9:30, bringing you in-depth review and analysis of issues happening within and outside the country. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. I'll be back at the top of the hour with the news. Don't go away.
Core TV News, expanding your view.